And one of the things, obviously, you brought up Ross and Marshall, your cousins there coming in, getting the whole family back together.
Yeah.
They're pillars over at MLW at this point that are, the company builds around. Could you see like any kind of MLW SWE relationship? Is that something you'd be interested? Or
I'm just interested in my cousins at this point. I think that they're a little annoyed that I want them. They're like, I'm sorry, my cousin bought the Federation. What are we supposed to do? We're going over to be with her. And I just hope that they are willing to work with us as opposed to against us, because I want to give my cousins the most work that they can get. So at all the federations, if they can. So if they're willing to share,
yeah,
then I am too. I mean, our show is going to be different than theirs is. So to me, again, it's not a competition. I feel like we should all build each other up, and we can all have all the wrestlers, it's going to be different storylines, going to be this and that. I absolutely think when you have a title at MLW or AEW, we should be competing for those titles on each other's shows. I don't know why they don't do that. I'm really hoping to start that in some sort of capacity. It would be cool if SWE held an MLW belt and vice versa. And start that rivalry and start that competition on stage. And I think that would be really cool.
Well, MLW's got the Vice TV deal. I mean, is a national kind of weekly television show for SWE? Is that one of the things on your bucket list for the promotion?
Yeah, we are definitely going on the internet. So right now we're on so many networks and everything. And it's like, who watches TV anymore? Like, I want to stream. I mean, we'll have people in Dallas be at the show and say, where do I watch you? And we're on prime time CW33.
That's what I thought. Like, you guys have affiliates and stuff that you're
with. So
right.
We're on a lot of like big networks on the best time slots, yet people don't know where to watch. So to me, that was a big eye opener. And so our next show, we're going to be on Facebook Live that you can buy, or you can wait a while, like a week or two, and it'll be on YouTube, our YouTube channel. So, I mean, I just think that people need to be streaming everything right now. I mean, we always have our phone in our hand. If SWE's on, like, let's watch it. Who's sitting at home looking at their guide anymore? Like, I'm not. Like, I even got rid of cable, and I have Hulu and Netflix. Like, so, I mean, I do want to be on one of the pillar networks, something like Hulu or Netflix, as opposed to something like Vice. I don't want people to have to go under their TV or their phones and have to download something else. I would rather it already be on their phone. They see the commercials and then we're there. So that's our goals for sure. And I definitely have connections at both of those networks. So
it is interesting how none of the major streaming services have really kind of found that connection with a wrestling company yet. I think that's something a lot of
they will.
Okay, fair enough. So wait, you're a Von Erich promoting in Texas. Is that stressful? Do you get excited by that idea? Like, what is it like for you to kind of be in this position here now? I mean, your grandfather was Fritz Von Erich, who used to run Texas, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I have a really good partner, Tom Lance, who actually was one of Daddy's friends. He knows more about our family than I do because, when they all die tragically, and you don't exactly want to think about it all the time.
Sure.
So when people are like, do you remember the match between this guy and this guy? I'm like, no. First of all, I was 6. But I know what our family's about. I know where Granddad was headed. I know what Uncle Kevin wants. I know where my cousins' hearts are. And it's definitely a more pure family-driven company that I want to, portray, because I feel like the cussing and the other things that aren't like, oh, I want to bring my kids to that, isn't where I want to go. I want to have charities there. I want my granddad and my dad to be proud of the product that we put out. So definitely with me being the new owner, I want to see a more wholesome yet retro cool style of wrestling like it was when I was little. Like there was nobody throwing around F-bombs and stuff when I was a kid. I want it to be where your family's like, oh, SWE's in town, let's all go as a family, and not their grandmother saying, no, you're not gonna go watch that. That's violent. That's this. That's that. I want it. I mean, it's obviously going to be violent,
You trust.
but in a back to when I was a kid way. So my take on the Von Erich wrestling is definitely going to be portrayed at SWE, and something that my family will be proud of. I mean, that's definitely why my cousins wanted to come over when they found out that I was really gearing it toward kids and this and that.
Yeah.
That's all they want to do. You know, they go into schools, they do anti-bullying campaigns.
Oh, cool.
So this is something that they've been wanting to do. So when they knew I was doing it, I think even if I wasn't the owner, if they knew a wrestling federation was going back to something like this, that's who they would be going to. So
I got you. Okay, and your uncle Kevin there, has he been giving you advice? What does he feel?
Oh yeah. He's always texting me that he's proud of me. He loves what I'm doing. He thinks I'm a great role model and things like that. And those are the texts that I strive to get from him, and I try to live by, every day. So by going back to Harvard Business School, I want to promote education to the kids. It's never too late, even for the parents. And just how important it is to be a good person and be kind, and I want to do that to my wrestlers too. I feel like a lot of them have been beaten down by a lot of these wrestling federations. They didn't care. They seem very, bruised sometimes emotionally, and I want to make sure that I'm building up my wrestlers. I'm taking care of them, and I care about them, and I don't feel like a lot of federations feel that way, and I absolutely do. So
Nice.